How you guys and girls doing today? Tempson went in here. In this video, I'm going to show y'all the basics of OBS and how to stream in 2018. Let's do it.
She say, do you love me? I tell her only partly. I only love my bed and my mom. I'm sorry. 50 dub, I even got it tatted on me. 81.
How y'all doing? Like I always say, I appreciate every single one of y'all that stop my videos. Y'all just aren't subscribed as viewers to our family, and I appreciate and love y'all. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe. Also, make sure to check down in the bottom left corner, baby, cause the social media, man. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? And in this video, y'all, I just wanted to give y'all a basic understanding of OBS for 2018. This is the most updated version, OBS 21.0.1, and you get this by going to OBS's website. So you just go to Google, go to OBS, and make sure you download the Studio version. It's completely free. 64-bit Windows, you have 64-bit or 32-bit if you have 32-bit. We're going to start from the very beginning. We're just going to go over the most basic things, nothing advanced, but just like the basic things. A good little podcast y'all wanted to get going. You know, there are things that, you know, I've learned that I was thinking, and I was wish that people would have taught me these things, and I was like, you know, why don't any ideas that come up, y'all, in the comments below that you want help with, anything, you just let me know. We're gonna start from the very beginning. So we just made a new scene, and how we did that, we right clicked on you just right click on open area and you click add. We just added a scene. So this is, you know, where you stream from. This is going to be you know, your game. So the other thing you want to do is you want to go over to sources and make sure you know, you can transition between scenes quite easily, so make sure you're always highlighted on this. I've had a couple of times when I added it on the wrong scene and messed everything up, so be careful. So you just go over here, you right click, you're going to make sure you go over to add, and then you know, we're going to get the most basic thing set up right now. So I have escape and talk off open in the background right now, you know, just to give you an example if you do everything right. So, you know, game capture, we're just going to name this, let's just name it EFT for, you know, right now, and make source visible. Of course, you want to make sure this is checked so you can actually see it. Hit OK. You're going to do capture any full screen resolution. More than likely, you're going to be playing a game of full screen for the best quality on Twitch and on OBS. If you have 2 cards SLI, you want to enable this SLI crossfire. We're going to leave that alone right now. Force scaling. Now, more than likely, you're going to want to actually force your resolution. You want to actually scale your resolution. The reason why is because streaming from your actual resolution is extremely unnecessary, and more than likely the resolution of your monitor is going to be too much for OBS to handle, and your bit rate, and it's going to make your game will look a little bit fuzzy to other viewers, because like we don't have that kind of bit rate right now. You can only go to like 6K for non-partner, I believe, and they actually increased that because it used to be 3K. So, you know, we're going to actually hit force scaling, and a good general standard to go to. Now you can go do ×2. For me, ×2 will be and it's going to be ×2 for you. You know, when you go to this, but like, you know, I'm at 1440p, so mine will be 864. But a good general thing to go to if you're not sure, if you have a 1080p, 14, you know, whatever, is 720. You know, go down to 720. You don't have to worry about allowed transparency or limit capture frame rate. You gotta worry about those kind of things. Capture cursor, that's only if you want to capture this. You just, if you want to click on different things. Use anti-cheat compatibility hook. Now you have to be careful about this one, because some games that are in closed beta, and I noticed this is something that's not talked about. Some games that are in like open beta and they're in testing, they don't like it messes it up. Like it'll mess with the OBS. So like sometimes it won't even launch, and I've tried countless hours upon hours, you know, to try to get a game to work, and it was just that I had the anti-cheat compatibility hook on. So right now we're gonna actually turn this off, and we're gonna see. Actually, no, actually, Tarkov uses battle line, I'm pretty sure, so we're gonna keep that on, and cache the third-party overlays such as Steam. So we're gonna hit OK. Now what I'm gonna do is, of course, I gotta launch the game first just to, you know, get it captured OBS, and we're just gonna alt tab out. And there it is. Now, like I said, because of my monitor size and, you know, being 1440p, you know, this has forced it to 720p. What you're going to do is simply stretch, and don't worry, when you stretch it, it is not like mess with the resolution. Like you're actually stretching it just to make sure it fits to the screen. The resolution is going to stay the same. So now you're seeing the game at 720p. All right, so now we're going to go over to the more of the advanced kind of settings. You know, so we're going to go to settings, and we're going to start from the very top and keep on going. So language, English, of course, for me, theme default. You really don't have to mess with things like this. I left all of this ever since the regular version of OBS. I left this at normal. I didn't really have to change anything like this. Automatically check for updates on startup. If you want to have that, you can. You know, you can kind of go through this on your own terms, but to be honest with you, everything that's enabled in this, I left it alone. Stream. Now Streaming services. Of course, you know, if you stream to Twitch, you want to make sure it's Twitch. Show all services. Depending on where you are at in the world, you know, you have an option to select whatever server. You know, don't worry, you have plenty of servers to go to. And your stream key. Now, your stream key can actually be found at your Twitch dashboard. All right, so we're gonna go to that real quick, and we're just gonna go to Twitch dashboard, and it is somewhere in your options, I'm pretty sure. So let's see. I'm pretty sure it's actually somewhere in your settings, your channel. It has to be in your channel somewhere. I might be, here it is. Let's see. Now, I'm not gonna, of course, not gonna, you know, show it, but if I'm not blind, stream key. Here we are, stream key. You know, and you just click on stream key. You hit show key, and then it's gonna ask you, are you sure? Make sure not to give this to anyone. You hit yes, and you copy that. Y'all, just for a quick disclaimer, y'all, I don't care. 2018, y'all, do never, ever show your stream key to anyone. Because what that does is, just in case y'all did not know, that allows people who have that key to actually type that in and actually stream to your channel. And I've seen a lot of people's channels get taken down and they weren't even aware of what's going on. You know, people can do trolly shit. So, you know, once you get that, y'all, you'll be good to go from this tab. Next thing you know, go over to output. Now, output, there are two ways that you can do this. You can do simple or you can do advanced. I'm going to actually show you the advanced version because I feel like it's a lot cleaner and like you can just get a lot of things done faster. Now, this is all going to vary. Now, like I said, you're going to have to test the rest of these settings. You're going to have to like test and go through them on your own, because like the thing about it, I'm going to still show you the basics of them, but you know, your bit rate, you know, your internet connection, 6K bit rate is actually 6 MB, 6,000 KB, 6 MB up and down. So, you know, you got to make sure you have a decent internet to handle that, you know. And also, you know, depending on your CPU encoder, you know, you might have to turn it down depending on what your CPU can handle. But all right, so generally what you want is X264. Now, X264 is going to use your CPU to encode. Now, your CPU being the encoder is always better than NVEC. You're going to see a slight drop in quality. Like, it's a noticeable difference between 264 and NVEC, because GPUs really are meant to render. But if your CPU really can't handle what you want it to at like a certain kind of CPU preset, then you can always go to NVEC. Now, what you're going to want to do, of course, now you don't even need this. And now make sure this is unticked. Enforce streaming server encoder settings. Pretty much what this does is, I thought it had something to do with rescaler encoder. What this does, y'all, actually resets your stream back to default. So no matter what kind of settings you put your stream at, this is going to make it go back to Twitch's original rules. Pretty much meaning that it'll make it go back to 3500 bit rate at 720p. You know, it'll make it go back to whatever Twitch's standard was back in the day, or it might make you go to 6K. I'm not so sure now, but you want to leave that unchecked. You do not have to rescale it twice. Actually, I found out that rescaling it and having this box on twice does absolutely nothing. It doesn't change anything. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it could even push your CPU harder. Rate control. Now, CBR, by far you're gonna get the best quality out of that. I wouldn't even worry about any of these. These are just, you know, it's not even, you don't have to be concerned about that. CBR, bitrate. Once again, like I said, you know, make sure you download, you don't have to worry about. Make sure your upload is at least 10 upload. And so, you know, let's say I had 10 upload right now. If I had 10 upload and I'm using 6 upload, you know, for the stream, that means I have 4 megabytes of upload left. If anybody tries to use 4 upload, you know, within my house, and that means I'm going to drop the service, or like, you know, my internet's going to tank. I'm going to just lose frames. So, you know, make sure you have the good enough internet. 720p, 60 FPS is what I'm running at right now on the stream. I say 6K is good for that. 10K and 1080p and up, you know, you really need to push the boundaries. Like I said, being a non-partner and things like that, you don't really gotta worry about that. You know, you can message Twitch and all that, but 6K is what I use. And like I said, you're gonna have to mess around with it. But you know, if you're running 30 FPS, 720, you can go 3500, but I feel like, you know, you need at least closer to 5000 or 5500 for 60 FPS and above. Use custom buffer size. You don't really have to worry about that. Keyframe interval, 2 seconds. Now, to be completely zero honest with you, y'all, I've seen a whole bunch of other people put this keyframe interval to 2 seconds. I'm not even sure honestly what this does. I just follow what other people did. I want to be real with y'all. Everyone put this at 2 seconds. So, you know, I'll put it back at 2. Now, the CPU preset, and like I said, y'all, here's the thing with CPU preset. I want to stress this. Depending on what your CPU can handle, what's going to happen is, if you start streaming and you know, your CPU is being pushed way too hard, it's going to let you know down at the very bottom, warning, high encoder settings, try to turn down, you know, your CPU preset, and you'll start getting lag and frame drops on your stream. So, you know, as you go lower, and this is very important, so as you go lower and the slower you go, the better quality you have. Now, to be honest with you, I stick to faster. You know, I stick to faster or fast. I'm pretty sure my other main scene I actually have it on fast because my CPU can handle it. And like I said, as you go down, and you got to also remember, games vary. There are some games that are extremely CPU intensive that might work with one preset, but then your CPU gets destroyed in the other preset. So you have to watch that. So, you know, medium, slow, slower, very slow, placebo. I'm pretty sure not even i9s can handle can handle placebo. You know, ultra fast, and like I said, the lower you go, the better the quality is, but the more CPU usage and more power is going to be draining out of the CPU. So I would say, to be honest with you, to start out, start off with faster or very fast. For most i7s and i5s, it can easily handle faster and very fast. You really won't even need super fast or ultra fast unless you're working with like a really slow i5 or an i3. So I would just stick and try faster, because that's what it starts you off with. Profile, I don't mess with that. Profile, you know, none. Tune, none. This is, you know, some kind of options that, you know, you could type in manually. I don't mess with that. Actually, you know what, let me go back to my main here. Let me just make sure, because a profile might actually be something. Profile, yeah, no, profile, none, tune, none. Okay, so no, you don't have to worry about that. And you know, you don't got to worry about that last one either. So we're gonna go to the audio now, and the audio. All right, so once again, this is all dependent on you. Sample rate, it all depends on, you know, if your mic can handle the kilohertz that we're going to be setting it to. So 48.1, 48 kilohertz. I set mine to 48 for the clearest audio. Once again, you know, it depends on what kind of mic you have. If you have a mono mic, you want to set it to mono. Stereo, set it to stereo. You know, 2.14. If you have a specific 7.1, you know, Dolby kind of thing, you know, you just want to make sure, see what your mic is and set it to that. Desktop audio device, device not connected or available. Pretty much what this is what's gonna be playing through. You know, it's pretty much asking you what are you going to be playing your thing through. If I had my Turtle Beaches, or if I had like my headset plugged in, it would let me know that my headset's right here. It would give me the option to plug it in. For example, headphones, you know, I don't have them in right now, but it will let me use my headphones through my mic. If I have, like I said, had my earphones plugged in, it'll let me choose it. Your mic automatically should default to what your mic you have plugged in, your USB microphone. I'm using the AT2020 USB Plus right now. Everything else you don't got to worry about. To be honest with you, don't mess with this, because this can actually mess things up. We're going to go next to video. Now, video. This is really important. Now, you do have to make sure that this is set right here. Now, like I said, just to make sure everything's clear, output, y'all, you can leave rescale unchecked, but make sure when you go to video that you have this. Now, your base canvas resolution is the shit. Almost not my damn desk of it. Now, the base canvas resolution, y'all, that is the resolution that your monitor is already. Like, that is your resolution that your monitor came with. So on mine, like I said, it's 1440p, and output scaled. Now, that is the same thing that you put when you went down here and you actually right clicked on game capture. You want to make sure that's 720 or whatever you decided to downscale it to, your times 2. Downscale filter, once again, like I said, this really doesn't have that big of an effect on CPU usage, like 1 or 2%. But to be honest with y'all, I use Lanstos. You know, sharpen scaling, it has like the best you know, it has the best samples, 32. You know, like I said, if you the higher you go up, you know, and the faster you go up, it's gonna be a little bit blurry, blurry scaling and things like that. So you want to make sure. Common values. Now, of course, you know, common FPS values, we're just gonna leave that alone. You know, that's the basic kind of FPS you want. And like I said, once again, this is dependent on your CPU and what games you want to play and how you want to play them. You know, if you want to play the games at 30 FPS, then by all means, you can set it to 30. You know, if not, you know, 59.94, 60 FPS, things like that. Make sure as well, you're always hitting apply every single time you apply these settings. You know, once you go to advanced, let's see now. We're gonna skip over hotkeys because this is all personal preference right here, but you know, process priority. So pretty much you're gonna let OBS know, you're gonna let your PC know how important OBS is. I would recommend just leaving this at normal. If like for some reason your OBS is running sluggish, you could try to set it to above normal, but I would leave this at normal. Of course, you want to use Direct 3D 11. Leave all of this stuff here default. You don't want to mess with any of these, and that covers it for that. And so, like I said, once again, we have the game set up over here. So let's just get this back on the screen again. All right, there it is. And so we have the game up right now, and like I said, this is everything. You can click on it. You can minimize it, downsize it, do whatever you want to do. And what we're going to actually do right now is we're going to come over here and we're going to right click. Now we're just going to add a basic, just something basic. What you want to do, let's just say you have a camera you want to use, right? So you just go over here and you go to video capture device. We're just going to name it cam for sure. You hit OK, and it should automatically default to whatever camera you have plugged in. Now you have to do some fancy things. You have another camera, but whatever kind of camera you have plugged in, this is me. Shit like that. And this is your default camera. Now, once again, like I said, this will all be up to you if you want to, adjust with your green screen. For example, for me, let's just say, let's say I have a green screen. I'm just going to show you this real quick. So I have a green screen, right? So what I want to do, right, you want to click on this, and this is help you for later on. So let's just say, you want to drag it. So you just want to size it and things like that. Make sure nothing's in the way. We're going to put this a little bit to the side right here. What you do, you want to right click on it. Make sure you go to filters. This is really important. Go down to effect filters, hit add, go to chroma key, and hit OK. Now, of course, like I said, we're not going to mess with this for too long, but as you can clearly see, it's going to do its best to try to auto and see, the best for you. You can move up and down on this, work with it and see, how it looks for, your stream and stuff like that. And there you have it with your camera. Now, once again, with audio, it'll automatically default down here to your audio, so you don't have to add anything for your audio specifically. It'll automatically start using your mic. If you want to, though, if you have like multiple audio things coming in, you can just hit this little cog symbol right here and go over to properties and just make sure that your device is set to whatever you're trying to use. And that's about it, y'all. That is the basics of OBS. Remember, y'all, like I said, also I'll show you one more thing. Let's see where it's at. Help. This is also important. These are your log files. What log files are, pretty much shows you whenever OBS crashes, whenever you think that there's something wrong with your OBS or your game or something like that, or your bit rate's plummeting or whatever, you can go back into this log file and you can actually hit show log files. This will actually drag up to your and show you all your previous streams. You click on one of these and it'll come up with like a long detailed list of what happened to your stream. You can go and look for a log analyzer online, or you can go to the forums and you can ask someone, or you can actually find it in that little text. You can actually figure out what's your problem and see what's going on with that. All right, y'all, and that is about it. That is the fully up-to-date thing that I wanted to show y'all for OBS. Now, there are a lot of like I said, there are a lot of variable things, but that's pretty much the basic setup. Make sure, y'all, like I said, that you're never showing your stream key to anyone, because like I said, that can destroy your channel literally. You don't want anyone to have that. And like I said, with the other settings, always make sure that it's gonna take you a while. You're gonna have to tinker with the settings, and you're gonna have to see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. The like I said, the lower the preset, the better, and everything like that. Bit rate, really depends on what you want to go to, but that's pretty much the basic setup for OBS in 2018. I hope y'all did enjoy this video, and I'll catch y'all later. Time18 out.
Yamagini chain, rest in peace to my superior. Hermes link a feed a village in Liberia. TMZ taking pictures causing my hysteria.